Okay, it's the morning of like the third day on this project with the 15K from a previous video, and I'm setting up a solar array for that inverter. That inverter has 3 MPPT strings, and it says it can carry 17,000 watts of panels. This installation is not going to be at the optimum tilt angle, so I'm going to get a little underperformance from those panels, but I'm not going to worry about it too much in the beginning, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm doing 6 strings of 6 panels each, so that's 6S, 6P. So I'm going to put 6 50-volt panels in series, and I'm going to put 2 of those strings together on one of the 3 MPPTs. I'm going to run home runs for each set of 6 panels because if maybe that's not right. No, that would be 20 amps. I could run just 3 home runs actually with 10 gauge cable because 2 sets of panels in series would be 20 amps because they're approximately 10 amps per panel. So I'll do 3 home runs circuits, but it'll be 6 panels per string and then 2 strings together for about 20 amps. So that sounds good. I cleaned the ground here. It's extremely rocky. So I took out the weeds and then raked them aside and then pulled the rocks out, put some rocks there to hold down my fabric. I did a double layer of fabric because this fabric isn't really thick. But the panel spacing is really close, so I'm going to put some little pea gravel underneath the panels. So these are the RM-5 racks. They're 5-degree flat roof racking. We have an extremely high wind load here of 160 miles an hour. So I'm doing double ballast blocks on every rack, and then I'm going to build a stone little parapet wall up the side, and then I'm going to anchor all the corners and then every other rack going up the west side because the wind comes in this way. So these racks are pretty cool. They're of course not a ground mount rack, but I need something that I can deploy rapidly that is not really a permanent choice. You know, there's no concrete on this job. So these are just blocks from the Despot. They're 4x8x16 solid. These are 450 watt panels from Exitech, like I've got on my other installations. They're approximately 50 volts open circuit and approximately 10 amps per panel, so it makes adding them up really easy. I've got some hardware that comes with the racks. The racks use these little T-nuts here, and those T-nuts pop in where you want the panel installed, and there's a little stop for the panel, so you can actually get super accurate with the layout, which is really cool. I have another style of racking over there that is also from Unirack, but it's a little different, and I like this one better. That's a 10-degree tilt over there. Not a huge fan. So the racking clips are these little clips here, and they have a range. This is 30 to 35. These modules are 35 millimeters. And they'll do bonding. So I'm going to drive 2 ground rods on this array, and I've got some Weeb bonding clamps, and I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom because it's a really long setup. So I'm just going to drive 2 rods because ground rods are cheap. So they have 2 different spacing. So you can do, I think it's 7 or 11 inches. And the difference you can see here. So this spacing here is the 7, and then this one is the 11. So if you use that hole instead of that hole, it's, you know, bigger by that amount. I ran a centerline string down the array, and I, you know, casually lined up the center rack. They really require just a little kicking around. I made some little story poles here so that you can set out the run distance. So the short one is for the run, so from this rack to this rack is the short distance, and the longer one is from this rack to that rack. And some of the racks are sitting on like some little uneven ground there. You can see that one, so I'll shim those up before I load them. So my series strings are going to run from this panel up to that one, over to that one, down, down, over, and then my connections will come out the side here for every 6 modules, and I'll run a conduit down the side to carry those cables. Yeah, that's the array. I think it's 16,200 watts total, so I'm under the manufacturer's recommendation, but like I said, we're never going to see that because these are 5-degree tilt. So I think our optimum tilt annually for this location is 36 degrees, so I'm way off of that. So this will be a you know, a modest output for these panels, but I have a lot of panels in stock, and it's pretty easy to throw them down. So I'm just going to throw them down, and then we'll see how it goes. So again, sorry for the confusion. I need to write a script, I guess, but it's 6 sets of 6. But when I get to the combiner box, I'm actually just going to send 3 circuits home to the inverter, because it'll be 20 amps per circuit, and that's fine. I thought it was going to be 40, but I was wrong. So yeah, so that's the project. I have 3 more pallets of modules laying around here, so I'll just go snatch one of them with the forklift when I get these 9 down. And these ones were just laying out, and I wanted to use those up first because they were already loose. So that's the ongoing project. Thanks for checking in. Hope that was cool.